Today I want to share some advice and some tips on how to take photos of planes at Airshow. Now last year I went to the Pacific Airshow on the Gold Coast and I used my Nikon Z6II with the Nikon 200 to 500mm lens. And I shared after the Airshow that I'd taken this monopod with me, but I didn't use it because the planes were not only going left to right and then right to left, they were also going straight up. But looking back now, I realized that this was a mistake. I had tried to using the monopod, but because the monopod didn't have a foot, it was just moving all over the place. This year I'm going to do something different, and that is I'm taking my NRL monopod. It has feet, as you can see, like this. What this gives me is better stability. And not only am I taking the monopod because I want to see how this monopod goes at the Airshow, I'm also taking my tripod. Now the tripod here I'm going to use is the same one that I've got on my monopod here. I want to see which one is best. I'm going there for 2 days this year. Last year I only went for one. And you might say, well, why don't you hand hold your lens? I have a black rapid strap that I could just strap onto the camera, and when I get tired, just put it down beside me. But I found hand holding this gear for the entire duration of the Airshow got very tiring, and towards the end I missed a lot of shots. Why? Because I was just so tired. And it wasn't just me saying this. Quite a few people around at the end were saying our arms are aching, you know, we're all holding heavy lenses the whole day. The Airshow didn't stop for the whole time that it started. From around 9:45 to around 2:45 there was constant action. So this is something that you have to be mindful about. Make sure that you take a sling and think about maybe taking a tripod, because if your arms get tired, then a tripod is great because you might miss some of the photos as they're going up, but you will find that you're going to get quite a lot of shots when they're going backwards and forwards. Don't go to the Airshow without a plan. When we go out to photograph a sunset or a sunrise, or when I go out to photograph wildlife, I have an idea of what I want that day. When you go to an Airshow, have an idea of the types of photos that you want. Look up online, you can see all sorts of different photos and say, okay, well, this is the sort of photo I want. And you work towards it. Whether you achieve your goal or not, you will go home and still say, I gave it my best. And that's the best we can do. We give it our best. When you set up your camera for Airshow photography, your shutter speed is the most important function. So set it in shutter priority. Last year, my biggest mistake was set it to manual mode. I treated my Airshow photography like my wildlife photography. Everything just didn't go to plan at the start. And halfway through it, I said, like, no, this is wrong. Fix my ISO to ISO 100. It was quite a bright day. And then just tried to adjust my shutter speed. This year, I'm just using shutter priority. Airshows are normally done on very bright days, so my ISO will be 100 and I can quickly adjust my shutter speed, and the aperture will be governed by my shutter speed. It doesn't matter. Planes are so far away that even if I am at f5.6, I will get good photos. If you try to shoot in program mode or in auto mode, you're leaving your settings to your camera, and that is not good. You want to be in control of your shutter speed. Now, the other three most important modes on your camera that you have to set on the day is your AF mode, your focus mode, and your release mode. The AF mode dictates what sort of area you're going to be selecting when the planes are coming through. For me last year, I used wide area small. This year, I will be using wide area small and wide area large, because sometimes the planes move so quickly that wide area large is going to give me a better chance of being able to focus on my subject. Next is your focus mode, and that is, are you going to take a single photo every time you press the shutter button, or is it going to be in continuous? Because if it's just a single, you're going to miss a lot of shots. So it's autofocus continuous. As long as you're holding the button down, it will be taking photos. The last one is the release mode. We have single, we have continuous slow, and in the camera, we can program continuous slow from around 3 frames per second to a maximum of 5.5 frames per second. Then we have continuous high, which is set to 5.5 frames per second, and on the Nikon Z6II, and other Nikon mirrorless cameras, we have continuous high extended. And this can give you between 9.5 and 13 frames per second, depending on whether you use silent photography. Also, it depends whether you're shooting in 12-bit RAW or 14-bit RAW. And don't expect that every photo you take is going to be spot on focus. Let me show you now some of the photos that I took last year. And I'll give you some advice on why I took the photos and why you should think about framing the photos the way that I framed them. Here you can see we've got some World War II planes. They're coming towards us. There's two of them. And I've got a bit of prop blur there. And to get prop blur, you really have to be below 1/320th of a second. Some people can get it down below 1/150th of a second. I can't do that. My minimum is around 1/250th of a second. And even then, sometimes the images aren't sharp. It does look good, but there's no real feel of action compared to this one here. It's like a dogfight. They were dogfighting. Because I was just hand holding the camera, I was quickly able to put the camera into portrait orientation and take this photo as they're all sort of moving separately. This is the sort of photos when you're seeing these planes that you want to get, because it gives the photo a wow factor. Now these biplanes, they work together as a set of three. When you see a group of planes together, it's best to get them in a group. You can take a couple of photos of them singularly, but they look so much better when they are a group, because look, here they've got all the smoke coming out the back, and this is a shot that you want to get. Here you can see the speed that these planes are going. They're going straight up, but can you see all the smoke? It's showing you the speed that they're going because the smoke is all being chopped up. When it comes to big planes, this is a C-17 Globemaster. It is a very big plane, and it is hard to photograph a plane like this and make it look awesome, because although this photo looks good, it doesn't give you a sense of how awesome, of how big it is. But look at this next photo here. It's come back around and it's tilted around to show its underbelly. This to me is a much better image than the first one, because although we don't see the cockpit, we don't see the top of the aircraft, what we see is size, and we go like, wow, this is such an immense plane. Here are some other stunt planes, and look at the speed of them. You can see they're coming down quickly. There's huge amounts of prop blur, but this image doesn't really show what the stunt plane can do compared to this image here. He's doing a barrel roll, and you can see with the smoke, he's rolling around. The smoke is rolling around. In this set, I took over 50 photos. He's inverted and he's just about done the full circle with the smoke, and he just kept going round and round. So I took so many photos, and then I just selected the best ones. These are the roulettes. See, they're just streaking across the blue sky, and they look great. They're just coming in from left to right. Look at this photo here. They're high up in the sky and they've gone inverted, and they're just rolling around now. And this gives you an idea of the speed and the aerobatics of these planes. These are the images that you want because it shows action. When you go to an air show, you want action shots. You don't want like still frames, frames that it just looks like you've cut and pasted a plane into the sky. Now I've saved the best to last. This is an F-18 and it's coming in low. The first pass was just horizontal. It was great. I took a couple of photos. Then when he came back around the second time, he slightly tipped his wings. And this photo here just dictates speed, you know, like Top Gun. You can see it. It's on an angle. Now this F-18 was around for 5 minutes. And towards the end, they start letting off flares. And these are the photos that you want. You really want to be on the ball when they start shooting flares, because they're not going to be shooting flares for long. This, for me, was the best shot that I liked out of the F-18s. Sure, I like the shot where the plane is just on a slight angle with the flares shooting out, but here the plane is inverted. He's flying away from me, firing flares, and you can see the jet wash at the back of the plane. That's all that blurredness there. This is just an amazing shot. Airshow photography should be fun. Don't stress too much. If you miss shots, you miss shots. It's all about having fun, enjoying the day. Last year, I missed a fabulous shot. I thought I was taking a video of it, but I didn't press the record button. And that was of the C-130 as it was flying towards us and firing off flares. I was watching it through the camera and I was just thinking to myself, wow, this is so great. When it finished firing, I looked up at him and I go like, wow, I just got that on video. And he goes, that's great. I just got some great photos. I quickly looked at the camera to see the video. I hadn't pressed the record button. I hope you can see the different types of photos that I took and the types of photos that you should aim to photograph to get your action shots. If you've liked the video, give it a big thumbs up, stay safe, enjoy airshow photography, and we have the Pacific Airshow in about a month's time, so after the airshow, maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, I'll post a video on what my success and what my failures were for this year's Pacific Airshow. Bye for now.